Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
We need a technical person here. Well, I don't know if that one's any better, or maybe, yeah.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me? Super. Thank you very much to the Kirtan party. Hare Krishna Maharaj and Hare Krishna to you, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome, dear devotees, to Pretoria Temple's third in-person weekend program this year. Unfortunately, COVID has kept us from seeing each other face-to-face sooner. I'm truly grateful to the Lord for arranging that we can get together today. Thank you all for joining us today as we receive the mercy of His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj. Please assist me in welcoming Maharaj by chanting loudly, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Super. Before we go any further, I would like you all to take note of the following safety or COVID protocols. Can we all kindly maintain wearing our masks at all times and try to maintain a physical distance of 1 to 1.5 meters from each other. So the program for today is as follows. We will have a class by His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami. There will be arti, an offering of lamps to Sri Damodar, kirtan and prasadam can be collected upon leaving the temple. So, devotees, although our guest today probably does not need an introduction to most of you, there may be a newcomer or two here today, or in Facebook land, that may be unfamiliar with him. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, originally from New Zealand, joined ISKCON in London early in 1973. He later that same year took initiation from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. 11 years later, he was awarded sannyas and has become an initiating spiritual master for many in several countries across the globe. A lot has happened since then. Currently, he is serving as co-GBC in South Africa and a few other countries as well, I believe. He has some special interests in filming, photography, and Harikram. Since lockdown has started in South Africa, Maharaj has embarked on a rigorous online program, including 2 online Japa sessions a day, as well as classes every evening and on weekends. Please find him on Facebook and grab the daily mercy. We are grateful for your tireless endeavor, Maharaj. Thank you for being such an inspiration to the devotees, and thank you for very much for taking the time to visit with us in Pretoria today. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj ki Jai. His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sadhu Prabhu. And thank you all for coming. Just by the way, I see that some of you have chosen to sit in the sun. Some like it hot. There is, look at this beautiful pagoda sort of whatnot here. You're welcome. You can bring your chair and sit there if you like, whatever you like. We are very liberal here, so yeah, feel free if you want to come a little closer and probably get better shade than you have there. You can come sit under this little gizmo. So yes, Hare Krishna everyone, and welcome, and I'm really happy to be here with you all again. It was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it, that we were here and we talked about some of the things to do with the Damodar Leela, the pastime of Mother Yashoda binding, tying Lord Krishna. And in this way, it's a very heartfelt, very deep pastime of relationship. After all, really, ultimately, the main thing in life is relationships. That's ultimately, it's the main thing. You can have fun in this way and that way, and you can go to the beach and go swimming and, watch a movie, go into a dream world as if it's real. Will the bad guys get James Bond or not? Or whoever it is, one of these heroes. But it's just stupid, because it's just James Bond is being paid to act in a certain way. But actually, it's just hallucination, really speaking. But it's interesting, isn't it, that day-to-day life is so, what would you say, boring, so day-to-day, so ordinary, that people feel, let's go into a dream world of unreality and identify as if it's real, and all the emotions will come. I remember when I went with my father, when I was young, we went to see the movie Romeo and Juliet. It's a famous Shakespearean play, but there was a movie, this was really a long time ago, Olivia Hussey, I think her name was. And at the end, you know what happens? They kill themselves. They both commit suicide. And when we came out, my father was crying. Really, he was crying. But actually, they were just two actors, just being paid lots of money, more than any of you get paid. I don't get paid anything, so. But more than any of you get paid, they're just being paid to act like it's really like that, but it's not like that. They're just very clever at making it look like it's real. Enter a dream world for a little while, but then after a while, you got to come back to the reality of day-to-day life. So, but really the main thing, you can have fun in different ways and run around and eat and drink and take different things and go to the, Sun City and lose all your money and think you're having fun. Yeah, but ultimately, the main thing is our relationships. That's the main thing. And if your relationships are in a really disastrous state, which happens to everyone sometimes, if your relationships are really bad, then you can drink what you like or go where you like and whatever you like. But if your relationships are really not right, then you can have as much fun, quote unquote, as you like, but it won't help you. So relationships are the main thing. I heard, what was it? Some people say, let us drown our sorrows. Means life is tough. That's what we've just been saying. But you can then drink some liquor, some mainstay, or whatever, and drown your sorrows, and then you'll feel it's okay. But I heard someone said, I tried to drown my sorrows, but they learnt how to swim. It's rather a good one, actually. I don't know where it came from, but I think the person was quite clever. Yeah. So relationship. But within this world, of course, we have our relationships. But all of our relationships are problematic. Even the nice ones. You have a nice relationship perhaps with your parents, but then your parents die. Inevitably. You have different nice relationships, but then things, somehow or other, things go wrong within this world. Maybe you die. Yeah, that really upsets the relationships. So in this world, people are they're looking for enjoyment. Ultimately, they're looking for relationships, but there's so many challenges, and ultimately there's failure. Yes. In that you die, or the people you're close to, they die. And that just wrecks everything totally. Talk about total disaster. That's literally total disaster. So, but you know what? The thing is that each one of us has a relationship with Krishna, God, an eternal relationship, every one of us. Every one of us. And that means all living entities, not just the humans, but all living entities. And that relationship is eternal. That relationship is perfect. But here, within this world, because we've all sort of drifted away, we've become disconnected from our relationship with Krishna. We've forgotten all about it. And now we are looking for the same type of experience, at least, of relationship. But we're looking for that experience of relationship with people who are not capable of offering that sort of relationship. Yes. People have so many shortcomings. Hare Krishna. Kemcha? All right, Jay? Yeah, people, even we try our best. Even I think about myself. If you have a relationship with me, watch out, because, sometimes I go a little silly. When I was a child, let me tell you something interesting. When I was a child, there was no television at all. When I was really a little child. But there was the radio. And on the radio, my favorite show, it was called The Goon Show. If some of you are older, you might remember Peter Sellers, Harry Seacombe, and a couple of others. And they were like brilliant, incredible comedians. And actually, Peter Sellers was a bit of a Hare Krishna devotee. Yeah, he was actually a bit of a Hare Krishna devotee, but later. So I remember in one of the Goon Show programs on the radio, someone had to tell someone else a secret. It was like, of extreme importance and of extreme confidentiality. So the one who was being told the secret, as the one who was trying to tell the secret, was saying, okay, look, I'll tell you now. So the one who was being told, he was always saying, no, 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 don't. You know, someone might hear it. Someone somehow might hear it. So no, let's find a better place. So they ended up going out into what they call the moors. In England, it's a sort of, not exactly desert, but it's an uninhabited area, part of England. And it's just, you know, it's really desolate. And so they're out in the moors, and there's just no one at all for miles. And the fellow who wants to tell the secret says, okay, can I tell you now? And the one who's to be told said, I don't know. You got to be very careful. And the one with the secret said, but I got to tell you. And the one who he wants to tell the secret said, yes, but can I be trusted? So, I don't know if you got that. They're also a bit subtle sometimes. So, but can I be trusted? Well, it might be a pretty good question. Because everyone has their breaking point, generally. Of course, someone, you know, who's really advanced in Krishna consciousness, they go beyond having breaking points, so they can be trusted, absolutely. But otherwise, you know, my point is relationships. Otherwise, it's difficult. It's difficult. Husband lets down wife, wife lets down husband. You know, George Harrison, the late George Harrison, who in his day was extremely famous as a musician, his wife ran off with his best friend, who was another, not quite as famous, but very, very famous musician, Eric Clapton, who was also something of a Hare Krishna to some degree in his day. And George Harrison told us, because he would visit from time to time, he said that, yeah, Eric and I, we're very close. He said, we share the same wife. So, yeah, life in this world, you never quite know what's going to happen. But my point is that we can have that perfect relationship, the relationship we're actually looking for. We can have it with Krishna. And it's also possible to have with those who are like very, very dedicated devotees of Krishna. But particularly with Krishna, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a relationship in which we're never going to be let down and like cheated, that sort of thing. We're looking for a relationship ultimately which is not going to end, means deathless, an eternal relationship. And a relationship in which we are really, you know, it's a two-way relationship from the heart. Not just, you know, we're trying to do everything and the other person doesn't really reciprocate. But when we have a relationship with Krishna, Krishna really reciprocates. In fact, more than just reciprocates, it's completely amazing. Just completely amazing and wonderful. And actually beyond our expectations, certainly beyond our experience, even beyond our hopes. And devotees, I'm bringing this up. I mean, in general, it's of course very important and very nice as part of what is Krishna consciousness. But devotees, today is, well, 2 days after the Govardhan Puja festival. Govardhan Puja is a very famous festival in our calendar. It's the festival or the pastime of Krishna, celebrating the pastime in which Krishna lifted the hill, Govardhan Hill, and held it on the little finger of his left hand for 7 days and 7 nights to protect his devotees from a great onslaught, the great onslaught of a great storm sent by what we call a demigod, one of the universal controllers, Indra, who's in charge of rainfall. So we are reflecting on this, you know, as different occasions come up in our calendar, we reflect on them for some time here and there, because they're all very profound, very deep and very wonderful. So this pastime of Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill in order to protect his devotees, it's just a one of the most wonderful pastimes. And we're not going to go through the whole thing because it would take hours and hours. But I do want to read a couple of verses. Let's just, what now? Find the two. Here we are. So, we mentioned that a great storm came, and it was deliberately sent by the person who is in charge of storms in this universe. Yeah, Indra. So massive, massive storm, and it just suddenly descended on the devotees of Vrindavan. And whenever the devotees of Vrindavan get into difficulty, some crisis arises, then they call out to Krishna to help them. And that's what they do here. I'll read this verse. It's Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 25, verse 13. And they call out to Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Mahabhaga, Twanatham Gokula Prabho, Tratum Arhasi, Deva Nao, Kupitad Bhakta Vatsala. Which means, Krishna, Krishna, O most fortunate one, please deliver the cows from the wrath of Indra. O Lord, you are so affectionate to your devotees. Please save us also. Well, we could note one or a couple of things, at least one thing here, that this is the devotees of Vrindavan, including Krishna's parents, and they can see that this is just some, just like totally fantastic, inconceivably drastic crisis which has come upon us, and only Krishna can protect us. But did you notice there's a special twist here in it? There's a special twist. Let me just read it again. Krishna, Krishna, O most fortunate one, please deliver the cows from the wrath of Indra. O Lord, you are so affectionate to your devotees. Please save us also. Did you understand what the twist is? I know Namacharya Prabhu does and Kishori Devi does, because they know pretty much everything. But any of you notice the twist? There's a twist there. What's the twist? Save the cows. I can't hear you. Scream. Yeah. First of all, they pray to Krishna, please save the cows. And then they say, please save us also. They don't say, save us! And while you're at it, save the cows. You know, I think many of you would not know, or maybe even have heard of, a special disciple of Srila Prabhupada who passed away, unfortunately, a good number of years ago, Tamal Krishna Goswami. And I remember he was visiting England with Srila Prabhupada. I think it was 77. And me and a couple of the other young men, we were serving. There was him and a group of other very senior devotees. We were serving them lunch one day, and Tamal Krishna Goswami said to me, he pointed to one of the other devotees, whose name was Adi Keshava Swami. He said, hey, bring a chapati for Adi Keshava Swami, bring one. So I got up to do that, and Tamal Krishna Goswami said, and bring me one too. It's the other way around. But the bridge buses, they're so selfless and they're so dedicated to the cows. They don't regard the cows as being some just animals which we don't care about, and even what to speak of, we don't care about them. But you know, we're happy that they get killed so we can eat them. You know, that's pretty low, actually. So they take the cows very seriously. There's a nice incident with Krishna. It's a long story, but on the Gopastami day, which is coming up next week, this coming week right now. Anyone remember what day it is? Do you remember what day it is? What day is it? Thursday? We're having a festival, I think. The Gopastami day, it's Astami, means the 8th day of the moon. Gopastami, of the cows and the cow herds. And Krishna, at the age of 3, started his cow herding, calf herding actually, initially, because he's only 3. You know, he's like really a little boy. But he just wanted to get into it and herd the cows. So there was some negotiation, and it was settled that rather than Krishna, 3 years old, trying to herd the cows, he would herd the calves. So he was given many presents because it's his first day doing what is like the family dharma, the family way of life, or even religion. And so he was given a rope for tying the cows, a stick for sort of guiding the cows, directing the cows. He was given a buffalo horn for calling the cows. Krishna was given his first flute that day, and his mother Yashoda, gave him a pair of shoes. they still make them to some degree in India, these very quaint little shoes. They come to a pointy toe which sticks up, sometimes has a bell on it, and, different colors, little patches of cloth and reflective things. So she gave him a pair of these shoes and told him, you're going to be going out climbing the hills and going through the forest. You need a pair of shoes. And she gave him an also very colorful, beautiful little umbrella with a servant to carry it. And she told him, you're going to be out in the sun all day, and sometimes it'll rain, so umbrella, multi-purpose. And Krishna said, no, I will not take these things unless you provide 4 shoes for each calf, and an umbrella with a servant to carry it for each calf. Otherwise, I will not accept these things. And Mother Yashoda said, what do you mean, shoes for the calves, umbrella? They're just animals. They don't need these things. And Krishna said, these are not just animals. These are our life. They're our religion. Because, of course, they were dairy farmers, you could say, or cowherds. That's what they were. That's how they made a living. So Krishna said, yes, they're our life. Our lives depend on them. They are our religion. How can I take anything better than the cows? That's we should think about it. That's really an interesting perspective. And then Krishna spoke a really very succinct, extremely brief, but very meaningful little sutra, we say in Sanskrit. Sutra means that you say something very meaningful but extremely succinctly, briefly. Krishna said, Dharmo rakshati rakshataha, which means, dharma means religion, or more than religion actually. It's more like the spiritual basis of your life. Dharmo rakshati. Rakshati means he or she who protects. Rakshati. Raksha me, I protect. Rakshasi, you protect. Rakshati, he or she protects. He or she who protects dharma, rakshataha, becomes protected by that dharma. That's interesting. You think about that. There's a lifetime of meditation in that, actually. That he or she, that person who protects dharma, becomes protected by that same dharma. In other words, Krishna consciousness is self-sustaining. You don't need anything from outside it. Yeah. You don't need anything from outside. You just need to focus on Krishna and your service, your duties to Krishna, and that will protect you, and you'll live very happily. And don't mind if I offer myself as a type of an example. I retired, do you know? How old do I look like? I'm 50? Do I look like I'm 50? I'm 70 actually, but don't worry about it. But I retired. You know when I retired? I retired shortly after turning 21. I worked a bit. I was a journalist. for a few years and a student of philosophy at university for a while. But I retired and became, here I am, trying to be a Hare Krishna devotee. So I have not worked in, you could say, 50 years, basically. Seriously, I've actually not worked in the sense of being employed and earning money. But look, I have not starved to death yet, you see. Actually, in Krishna consciousness, the problem is not so much, where is the next meal going to come from? The problem is there's too much prasadam. Sure. I mean, I'm not joking either. Sometimes or often. Yeah, all right. So, dharma rakshati rakshitaha. That person who protects dharma by maintaining it in their lives becomes protected by that dharma. And like this, they just live wonderful, wonderful existence. Yes, so anyway, the thing is, in this Govardhan Leela, here the devotees, the Brijbasis, the residents of Vrindavan, who are all just great, the greatest pure devotees of Krishna, they care. They really care about the cows, even more than about themselves. And so they're appealing to Krishna like that. And they say, you are so affectionate towards your devotees, so please save us also. The Sanskrit term in that regard is Bhakta Vatsala. Bhakta means devotee, and Vatsala literally means friend, actually. But not just friend like pal, that sort of friend, but, really, I mean, some might say bosom friend, or just a friend who they occupy a major place in your heart. So Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala, that when you become a devotee of Krishna, Krishna accepts you as one of his entourage, one of his associates, as one of his friends. And when Krishna becomes your friend, then there's a saying that even if the whole world lets you down, but Krishna is your friend, that's fine. That's perfect. That's just perfect. Yeah. That if Krishna wants to kill you, no one can protect you. Even the whole world gets around you to protect you. But if Krishna wants to save you, the whole world just can't do anything against you. So that's what having a relationship with Krishna is like. When you're a devotee, because he's Bhakta Vatsala, he's so kind to his devotees. So anyway, they appealed to Krishna like that, and Krishna responded. This is just a few verses after that verse I just read a few minutes ago. Krishna replies, it's verse 18. Tasman mach charanam gato na mannatha mat parigraham gopaye swatma yogena soyame vrata ahito. I must protect the cowherd community by my transcendental potency, for I am their shelter, I am their master, and indeed They are my own family. After all, I have taken a vow to protect my devotees. The Sanskrit is Soyame Vrata. Vrata means vow. Soyame Vrata Ahital. This is my vow to protect my devotees. And our acharyas, great spiritual masters and leaders, they say in their comments on this verse that they say that this is the great vow of Krishna. This is the great vow Krishna has taken to always protect his devotees. Therefore, we should always be devotees, or try to be or become Krishna's devotees. And then we'll see. We'll see different occasions, different things will happen. And it becomes just so clear, wow, that was Krishna. Krishna intervened. You know, something which is just too sort of constructive or whatever to just be an accident. Yeah, so yes, Krishna has taken that vow. So he did that. He lifted the hill. He lifted the hill and held it there for 7 days and 7 nights without taking a break, you know, for a snack or a snap. You know what a snap is? Prabhupada said, a snap is a short nap. A short nap is a snap. So, you know, we get busy sometimes, but after a while we feel, you know, I need a break for something, maybe just to visit the bathroom. But Krishna didn't move, literally, for 7 days and 7 nights. There was one time when he did move, sort of. He's holding the hill, little finger of his left hand, little finger, holding it. And that's a serious hill, 23 kilometers around. So how many tons does that weigh? Gosh. So Krishna, left hand is occupied, but right hand is just sort of, you know, free. And you know, sometimes when you're dealing with people, you notice, particularly if it's a slightly formal situation, they don't know what to do with their hands. Have you seen that? In the pockets, sort of hold them like this, or behind the back, or something. Yeah, so Krishna, his right hand was free. So Krishna thought, well, okay, that's fine. I know what I'll do. I will play my flute. Because Krishna, he's Murali Vadam, Vanksi Vadam. He's the great, acclaimed flute player. And indeed, when Krishna plays the flute, it's so incredible that living entities, cows, humans, they just become entranced and sort of just freeze. They just freeze. The influence of the music is just so overwhelming. And sometimes liquid things, like the river Yamuna, liquid things become hard, like rock. And then Krishna and his friends and the cows, they walk across the Yamuna because the surface has become hard like rock. And other times when Krishna plays the flute, rocks melt and just become liquid and just, yeah. So there's Krishna now. He starts playing one-handed with his flute. And his funny Brahmin friend, Madhu Mangal, who's just, one of the great, great characters. Madhu Mangal, when he saw Krishna just starting to play on the flute, Madhu Mangal came running over and shouted at Krishna, "Stop! Don't play the flute! Stop it now!" And everyone's a bit shocked, why? And Madhu Mangal said, "If you play the flute any longer, this hill may start melting on us, and we may drown. We may die." And Radharani was looking at Krishna, just looking. Normally the gopis, the young cowherd girls, they'd love to just look at Krishna because he's just so incomparably beautiful, but they can't because their parents are watching. And it's just not done in that culture. It's really just not done. So they have to look very quickly. I've demonstrated how it's done a few times. It's called a sidelong glance. That Krishna is, let's say Krishna's over there, and here's me, and there's my parents, Satyabhama's my mother, and she's just watching me to see if I'm going to look at Krishna or what I'm going to do. So the gopis have become expert in sidelong glances, very, very quickly, looking at Krishna and looking back at their mother so fast. The mother's watching, but she can't tell that her daughter looked at Krishna and looked back. She's still thinking the daughter's just looking straight at her. Can I demonstrate? We've practiced it. It takes a lot of practice. Just watch this. I'm going to look at my mother, Satyabhama, and I'm going to glance over there, sidelong glance, and glance back, and see if you can see my eyes move. All right. Did you see that? You didn't see it, did you? No, you didn't, because you got to be quick. Anyway, that's just a little joke. But they do that. But now, everyone's watching Krishna, because Krishna's holding the hill, and it's just completely overwhelming what Krishna's doing. So none of the parents are looking at their daughters to see if they're looking at Krishna or not. They're just looking at Krishna themselves. So Radharani was looking at Krishna, and Krishna was looking back. And Krishna, because there is an energy in those glances, there's an actual energy. And Krishna is coming under the influence of that, the energy of Radharani just staring at him. And Krishna's becoming he's sort of losing control. The hill is bouncing a little. And so the other gopis told Radharani, "Radharani, stop looking at Krishna. Don't look at Krishna. So if you keep looking at him, he'll lose control. He'll drop the hill on top of us. So stop looking at him." So Radharani pulled the end of her sari over her head, right over, like right over. Sari culture and sort of how the ladies deal with the saris, it's interesting. But traditionally, the sari at least goes over the head to sort of the hairline. But when you go, if you come with us, next year we're going to Vrindavan. We're going on a great parikrama at about this time, or December or November. And you'll see in Vrindavan the married ladies, at least the older married ladies, so many of them, the village ladies, they, in public, they keep their sari completely over their head, totally, not just to the hairline or something like that. So Radharani did that, and then she was looking through her sari at Krishna. So, devotees, this pastime of the lifting of Govardhan Hill, the different interactions that took place, which are exchanges in the context of relationship, it's very deep. And this Govardhan Leela is so special. It is, if not Krishna's most favorite, it's one of them, because in this pastime, this is one of the only, if not the only, but definitely one of the only, in which Lord Krishna is interacting with all of the devotees in all of the different types of relationships in one place at one time. Normally, Krishna goes out with his friends herding the cows, so he's with his friends and he's with the cows. At night or in the morning he's with his parents. At night he may be dancing with the gopis, he's with them and nobody else. So it's all very nice, it's very wonderful and incredible actually. But here in this Govardhan Leela, all the devotees of Vrindavan, all of them, every single one, they're all surrounding Krishna, just looking at him. And Krishna is in different ways interacting with all of them simultaneously. Same time, same place. And therefore, this is a very special pastime. And it's one of Krishna's great favorites. So Hare Krishna devotees, there is more. If you want to hear more, you have to come to our Santon Center this afternoon. 3 to 5 we'll be having the program, or 3 to 6 or so. And we will continue and tell you what happened. And believe me, it's amazing what happened. Absolutely amazing. Okay, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Giri Govardhana ki. Shri Govardhan Puja Mahotsava ki.